Congressman Jonathan Jackson, a House Democrat and also a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, good to have you back on the program. We've had some time now to digest this news, about 12 hours, 13 hours, in fact. What's your top line reaction to these tariffs impacting some 185 nations?
Well, what he's calling, what the president is calling Liberation Day, feels more like D-Day, that he has lit a fuse that can connect all different countries in some incalculable measure on people's actions and reactions. And to think that in this world that's globalized, that he can unwrap and then make threats against allies, neighbors, and trading partners without consequences is not true. When we saw in 2022, when the Brazilian economy started growing significantly with its export of soybeans into China, people are going to start finding other places to source. So he's going to create decoupling from the United States economy to other countries.
And Illinois, your home state, obviously a huge agricultural source of exporting. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But first, while I have you, I want to talk about how the GOP, or how the House specifically, plans to respond to this. We saw the Senate last night deliver that rare bipartisan rebuke of Trump's tariffs on Canada, adopting that resolution that effectively aims to block the proposed tariffs on our neighbors to the north. This was already in the works before that announcement yesterday, but 4 Republicans signed on to this. What do House leaders do now? I mean, what does the House do now? Because we know that leaders there don't want to touch this. So what's the plan now for Dems?
Well, let me say, first of all, a huge shout out to Senator Cory Booker. He might have broken the dam as far as letting the senators have their voice. I'm glad to see that Senator Rand Paul and McConnell and Murkowski and others have now stepped forward. And it's passed the Senate 51-49, 58-49. That's a great thing. In the House, we've been fighting under the leadership of Hakeem Jeffries, and now with our ranking member on Foreign Affairs, Mr. Gregory Meeks, he's putting forward a privileged resolution when we get back to Washington, D.C., to bypass the Speaker. The Speaker of the House, Mr. Johnson, still has not found his voice. He's the 3rd most powerful person in the United States of America, and he's not using that power to curtail Mr. Trump and let him know we have co-equal branches of government. There are tools in place to stop this sort of erratic, frenetic behavior. And so I'm so proud of Ranking Member Meeks, and there will be a privileged resolution to go around the Speaker of the House to let this come before the United States Congress as well.
But Congressman, do you think you'll be able to pull that off? And do you think that in the House, which is obviously very different than the Senate, that you might see some Republican defectors like we saw in the Senate? I mean, realistically, as the kids might say, keep it real with me. I mean, what do you expect here?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was an embarrassing defeat last week for Speaker Johnson. Congressman Luna was able to shut him down. And it was over a simple thing. It was a matter of women having access, new mothers having access to be to vote remotely. Like, what kind of arcane leadership is he doing where women cannot vote remotely? Of course, that's a natural workforce enhancement that we should have. And I do believe when Meeks this forward, that we will see the House follow suit.
Okay. Let me talk specifically about Illinois, as we just sort of alluded to there. You're on the House Committee on Agriculture. Illinois, a major exporter of agricultural products, one of the largest in the country, more than $13 billion in 2023, according to your state's agriculture department. How are these tariffs going to impact farmers in your state? What are you hearing?
Oh my goodness, what do we get from Canada? We get a lot of lumber from Canada for our housing market. We get a crude oil that we need for the refineries coming from Canada. So we're immediately going to feel a shock in our gas prices that goes in asphalt and many other products. We're going to see a spike in our housing prices because of the tariffs that are coming in here. We'll also see the impacts of the manufacturing from aluminum that fills the fountain, these manufacturing facilities in the north. That's huge. The other part is on the export of the soybean and corn. The Chinese started investing heavily in Brazil the last time there was a U.S.-Chinese trade dispute. And now we're going to see an increase in Brazilian exports, a decrease in Illinois exports of our soy and corn to the markets of China. And he's making the commodity markets come down. It's going to have less access to U.S. farmers, and our trade, we're pulling back on USAID So we're not going to be welcomed in as many places. This is D-Day in so many places around the world. And Mr. Trump has turned the parking lot of the White House into like a used car lot one week. The next week, he's now making with these big boards like, let's make a deal on the parking lot or, Wheel of Fortune. It's unbelievable. And we have people, Energy and Commerce committees that are prepared to make these decisions. He doesn't have to do this alone. So he's making America, in some ways, in diplomatic circles, stand for the MAGA movement. I heard a diplomat tell me the other day, MAGA means to him, make America go away. He's turning people away from the goodness and goodwill of America. America built this world financial trade system after World War II, and he's dismantling it single-handedly.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing it alone, though, right? I mean, he has the advice of those like his Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. And to that point, I want to play for you something the Secretary told my colleague, Caitlin Collins. Take a listen, Congressman.
Depends on the country, but remember that the history of trade is we are the deficit country. The deficit country has an advantage. They are the surplus countries. The surplus countries traditionally always lose any kind of a trade escalation. So I did, as a student of economic history or a professor of economic history, I'd advise against it.
Congressman, you have a master's in business. You have taught college finance. Do you agree with his assessment there?
Yes, you want to have people to have the United States dollar in the reserve, and so you do have a deficit. What he's doing is unparalleled in breaking the chains and the ties, if you will, of the manufacturing and the global infrastructure. Remember what he did at the last time he started off with some great people, as in Mr. Rex Tillerson of Exxon, one of the CEOs and a great CEO of the world's largest oil company. He ended up not with CEO of Mobil and Rex Tillerson. He ended up with Mr. Pillow. And so you're going to see people begin to defect when they find out that you cannot have a coordinated plan. He should bring this to the Hill. People in the Senate and the leadership, talk to the people in the House leadership. There are many people that want to be a part of this conversation. Not do it alone.
Okay. Representative Jonathan Jackson, we appreciate you being here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.